Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm gonna be something I've never done on YouTube yet, and I'm very new at it, and it's acrylic painting. So I've only done 2 acrylic paintings since I've started acrylics. Those are my acrylics, and today I'm gonna reproduce this landscape here. So I've painted this with gouache and I want to try to do it with acrylics now. So I have here a canvas and I've already put some gesso on it, some white gesso, and I'm gonna jump right into it and see how it goes. So this is a square format, so I'm gonna see a little bit how it changes the way I do acrylics. So first, here is my palette. So it's just a basic plastic palette and it's super scratched because I'm really not good when it comes to cleaning my palette, and the first time I did it I just scrape it and I scrape all the plastic. But anyway, so I'm gonna put a lot of white because I think I'm gonna need a lot of white, and then I'm also gonna put some gray, I'm not sure if I'm gonna go with red or only with burnt umber and yellow, and of course some blue for the sea. So I'm gonna see a little bit. I'm still trying to understand how my colors mix, and also acrylics dry super fast, so I'm still, in the process of understanding how to work with that and how to work with acrylics. That's just, yeah, how to mix colors, which colors are more powerful than the others, and also how to work with them as they dry like really fast. So I have this cheap acrylic brushes, and they are long ones, so basically it's supposed to give you some more insight on your painting, and you can be like far away from your painting when you paint, which is not super useful for me, but anyway. So I'm gonna start by placing my horizon line about here. I'm really bad at doing anything horizontal, but we get the idea. Okay, so I'm gonna try to start with very watered down color so that I can put down my color and see where everything goes and kind of cover this white. So it's my first time working on canvas, so I'm really not used to how textured it is. So yeah, learning process here. So I also have my reference picture in here, just to get an idea of where I'm supposed to put all my colors and stuff. So I have the sea there, and I'm gonna put a little bit there because there is some wet sand, like quite a lot of wet sand here and there. So yeah, basically this is where the water will be, and the water line just kind of goes this way. There are some big rocks everywhere. So that's the base layer for water. I think I'm gonna put a little bit more blue and work on the sky too. So I want the sky to be brighter blue up above and then get paler as we go down into the sea, to kind of differentiate, because I only have one type of blues, so I want to differentiate between the sky and the water, and I want the sky to be like this really bright summer sky that you have when you're at the sea. It's really strange for me to use watered down acrylics, because I've always used kind of thick acrylics for now, and I was working small scale, so it was pretty easy to use thick acrylics. So putting more bright blue on the top of the sky, and then just putting some more water as I go down. I think I should kind of clean my brush so that I don't have that much blue on it when I go closer to here, and put a little more white. Yeah, that's more like it. Okay, so something like that. And now I'm gonna add some new colors to my palette. So first I'm working with my larger brush because I really want to be just thinking about the shapes and not so much about the details or anything. And now I'm gonna try using burnt umber and yellow and see what type of colors I can get with that. I'm not quite sure how to do the colors of the rocks, so I'm gonna see. I'm trying to get some kind of grayish color, so I'm taking a little bit of blue, a little bit of burnt umber, and a little bit of yellow. Okay, that's leaning very much towards green. I think I'm gonna have to go with my red cadmium. I don't know. I still have to find out how these colors are mixing. If I'm putting some more white, it leans a little bit more towards gray. So yeah, I'm gonna start with that. So there is kind of a city on the horizon line here. So I'm just putting here we have some rocks. I don't mind that the rocks are a little bit on the green side because usually there are a lot of seaweeds and stuff on the rocks, so it works pretty well that it's kind of a greenish gray. So that I'm okay with, but it's more for the sand. I want a really pale kind of rose gray color, and I'm not sure how to mix that with my acrylics. And like I said, acrylics dry super fast, so I'm always a little bit worried that I've put too much on my palette and that I won't need the color and that I'm just gonna kind of lose this color. I know it's not great to think like that, but I can't help myself thinking this way. So here is the first rock, and then I have a big rocky thing going like here. Put a little bit more brown, a little bit more white again, a little bit of blue, a little bit of yellow. And also I want to have a variety of colors, so as it's the base layer, I don't really care how the color turn out. I can always go on top of it again if it's not suiting me, the colors I've used. So for now it's really about blocking the shapes and having kind of a base color that's not too far from what I want to do, but it doesn't have to be the perfect color yet. I'm not sure it will ever be the perfect color, but now it's really not so important. Here. Okay, so I have kind of the basic shape of this. It's a very huge rock, and there's a little bit of water in between, so that's nice. And now I'm gonna put a little bit of red and mix it with my yellow and white and hope that it will make some kind of nice beach color. So let's put a tone of yellow on here to have more of a I think this is going to be super hard to mix actually, but let's see what we can come out with. So this is my base color. Now I think it's not too bad. I can always lighten it down if I need to afterwards, or even go a little bit darker in some places if I need to, but for base color I think it works pretty well. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. It's interesting to work with such limited color for acrylics because I only have a green, a blue, a Payne's gray, so a bluish gray, white of course, burnt umber, and a yellow, a cadmium yellow. So yeah, cadmium yellow, cadmium blue, cadmium red, sorry, phthalo blue, phthalo green, burnt umber, and Payne's gray. And that's all I have. that's all I have, so that's what I have to work with when I'm doing my acrylics painting. And it means I have to do a lot of mixing, and I have to learn a lot on my colors and what type of colors I can get. And that's still very much on process, you know. I'm still not super good with that, but I'm learning. So here I've put just a little bit more burnt umber, actually, to have kind of a darker version of that. And it also adds a little bit of red, so that's super nice. And I'm using this to just add a little bit of kind of first shadows. Of course, I'll go more shadowy afterwards, but it's just very first shadows of the piece. Okay, so I've never worked with super thinned out acrylics, so I guess I gotta leave this to dry a little bit and then go back and add some more stuff. I'm gonna put some Payne's Gray also, and I think I'm gonna mix the Payne's Gray with I'm gonna switch to a thinner brush now. No, okay, no. Here's my plan. First, I'm gonna work on these rocks here. So I'm gonna put a little bit of Payne's Gray and work with the Payne's Gray and the burnt umber to get a darker color, and work with that to start putting a little bit of contrast in these rocks and to be able to give a sense of depth to these rocks. So let's try with that. I'm adding also a little bit of blue to keep this kind of greenish. That's very blue. Okay, I'm putting some more burnt umber on that. I think that's too much burnt umber now. It's super hard to mix. I'm still very much learning how to mix things and how not to put too much of a color. Okay, I think I have kind of yellowish, purple gray, so I'm gonna go with that and start add a little bit of shadows. So this is pretty harsh, but I can always come on top and lighten it down if I need, but it will help me also see what is needed and how I can work from there. And what is really nice with acrylics is that you never have to be too afraid of using bold colors, because you can always go on top and change the colors if you are not happy with them. So that's pretty convenient, actually. So there are some kind of big rocks here, like it's a big rock, but there are some kind of holes, or it's a complex big rock, let's say. I'm trying to replicate a little bit the texture of this rock and see where I can get with that. I'm not really good at drawing rocks. I think I said that in one of my last videos too. I still haven't taken the course I wanted to take on painting rocks, but it's still something I'm planning to do because I love drawing landscapes where there are a lot of rocky formations. But for now, I don't know exactly how to tackle them, so it's a lot of learning process, you know. But I think that looks pretty nice. And I'm also trying to use some dry brush effects. So just brushing my brush very lightly on the places I want to have just some kind of soft texture. And I think it was pretty nice, especially with this canvas texture. It really helps to bring this out. And I'm gonna use the same color but add a lot of white to it, so to have a kind of a pale version of that, and work to put kind of, not really highlights, but still working on building the texture of this. And covering a little bit of that grayish tone so that it only pops here and there, but it's not so prominent everywhere, because I think it's a little bit too green to be the main color of the rock. it can be kind of an accent color here and there, but not the main one. So I'm trying to cover this with this same version, but light with more white. And with acrylics, I feel you can give a lot of movement also to your piece with the way you use your brush and the brush strokes you're giving. It has a huge impact on the look of the piece, and you can really add a lot of texture just with different types of brush strokes. And I find it easier than with even gouache, and a lot easier than with watercolors, to use brush texture, because it's not a very wet media, so I find it easier to work on that. I'm gonna go with straight paint gray here and there, just to add a little bit more of this blue tone. I'm having a lot of fun actually, and using a big brush is so funny actually to, I don't know, just to feel more free when you're painting, and to be bold, and to add some huge marks, and to be less about the specifics but more about the global look of your piece. I really like that. I'm gonna use this same mix but with a brush that is less flexible, a bit more stiffer brush. I had a hard time saying stiffer. And work on this piece here to add the idea of buildings on the background here, to give more kind of a cityscape vibe. The problem with this brush is that the hairs are very small, so it gets clogged quite quickly. And I'm gonna use this same brush to add some more variety to my rocks here, but to start getting a little bit more defined with the details I'm putting here. And I like also that you have to work fast with acrylics, because it can add some kind of pressure, but it also forces you not to think too much about what's happening actually. I'm gonna go more white here, kind of a lot of white. You're supposed to mix with what do you call that? This stuff. I think you're supposed to use that to mix, but I don't know. I just feel more comfortable mixing with my brush, and I think it's not that good, because then I have this kind of issue of my hair being clogged. So here I'm gonna a little lighter than I was before. To continue working on my rocks and on the variety of colors I get here, and variety of textures I get here. Yeah. I like also to keep my big flat brush clean, so that when I put some color and it doesn't look the way I want, I can just go on top of it and kind of add some texture with the brush in a way. So I'm adding, as you can see, I'm adding a different type of texture here, more circular motions, because I can also see some more circular places in a way in those rocks. It's not all super. That was a little bit too circular, so I'm adding a little more of the straight stuff. So yeah, kind of working my way and trying to find a look that I like for these rocks. dark again. Oh, okay. I was thinking what is happening here, but I have a drop of water here. That's what's happening. So let's go dark again here, because I think I wanted this part to be a little darker. And it's disturbing all of my paint. Damn. So some of the colors I've put are already starting to get real get very dry already. So I have to think about what new colors I want to put, or do I have to use this very quick. So here I'm adding kind of a darker version of the green, just in a few places to give the idea of the, not the moss, but the seaweeds that are everywhere. And the seaweeds also have some kind of contrast and detail, so that's why I'm using a new color on top. Yeah, I kind of like how it's looking right now. I'm gonna work again on the sand now. So I'm gonna go again. I'm trying to dry out this brush. I love this brush, but it's super hard to get kind of dry. It always stays so wet, and it can be a little bit difficult then to do what you want to do with it. So I'm gonna put, I don't have any more burnt umber, so I'm gonna put more burnt umber here, and I'm gonna work again on the shadows of the sand. So I'm using burnt umber with a lot of white and a little bit of gray actually. Because I see also, oh maybe that's way too gray. Okay. I'm gonna put a little bit more of that original color, more white again. And sometimes it's hard because the color you have on your brush is not exactly the colors that's gonna come down. Let's try this. Yeah, that's better. Okay, let's go with this color. It's a little purpley, but I really like adding a little purple on my drawings, so I like how it's looking. And ooh, that was thick. That was way thicker than I thought. But that's okay. And I'm gonna add a lot of white here also to do kind of the highlights of the beach. Okay, I need more yellow here and a lot of... I'm trying to kind of replicate the color I've had when I studied the beach, but way more white. And it's super hard because you need so much white to actually have kind of a white color. So it's really hard to get that. And a little bit more yellow to kind of highlight some of the places also. Yeah, so that's it, I think. And I'm working with a very light motion here with my brush to give this dark dry brush effects on the sand. And depending on where I am, I'm changing a little bit the direction of the dry brush effect. So yeah, I think it's starting to kind of come together in a way. I'm gonna add now more blue. I'm also getting confused because my brushes are getting so messy. It's becoming kind of hard to see what I'm doing. So let's add a lot of white and have a really pale blue. Actually, I need to... Oh, okay, no, my brush is way too green. I need to darken the sea a little because my sea is looking very pale right now. I'm going to darken my sea. I'm going kind of bold here. I hope I'm not going to regret this. Adding some more white. Always needing some more white. It's crazy how much white you need when you're doing acrylics. I really need to buy a huge tube of white or even bottle of white, I think, but it's super expensive too, so yeah. for now I'm working with what I have, and we'll see how it evolves in the future. So here I'm using just pure whites, but because I have so many colors on my brush, it's just gonna mix with everything that's under. And I don't know, I think it can be kind of cool too, and add some more depth to what I'm doing. So I'm gonna add some blue also here, because I had this very light blue, but I need to get darker with this blue now that everything is starting to come together, that you can understand that there are places here where the blue is coming into the land. Oh, okay, I put super thick blue. It's kind of weird on the canvas. I'm not sure I did the thing in the right order, you know, maybe I should have started with the blue and then did the rock and then the sand, but I can always get back to some of these, so I think it will be okay, but it's definitely something I have to think more about when I'm doing some acrylics paintings for the future. Because it's a little bit messy here. But okay, I think it's not too bad for the blue. Maybe I'm gonna use this stiffer brush to add some details here and there. Let's see if I can clean it enough. So I'm gonna use, okay, it's so hard to clean this brush and to get them dry enough. If you have any advice on how I should do that, please put them in the comments. I would love to hear about it, because I've tried to take some classes, they didn't talk that much about this issue I'm having here. So I don't know if it's me doing something wrong or if it's normal with acrylics and you have to just kind of work your way around this. I don't know, just let me know. What's your experience with that and how you cope with this kind of issue, or if it's an issue at all in your painting life. So I'm just using this brush to be able to get a little bit more detailed and to go a little more crisp on the edges and stuff like that. And also because it gives some really nice dry brush effect, this brush. So I like it very much. And now I'm gonna go back to my grays and my greens and stuff like that and just work my way there. Oh no, first I'm gonna work back on the sand, so I'm trying to clean this big brush. I love this big brush. I think I need to get more of these big brushes so that when I'm doing a painting I don't have to go through all this process of cleaning it and then having some of my colors mixing that I absolutely don't want to mix actually. So I think I really should invest in another in another big brush like that. So here I'm doing basically what I did before, but it's just to blend a little bit more the place where the water where the water and the beach are kind of getting in one another. So it's hard because my blue is not entirely dry, so it's kind of getting in, but I need to work around that. So I'm using all the beach color I had already mixed on my palette. It's already kind of dry, but I can still work a little bit with it, so that's what I'm using here. And just going over that blue to have something little bit more organic when it comes to the sea line, actually. And especially here, I don't want it to be that tricky. What's happening here? So that's why I'm working to have kind of a more even color, but you can still see the different layers underneath. That's kind of the idea here. Okay, so I think that's a little bit better. And now I actually am gonna work on my rocks, as I was saying. Okay, so everything is kind of dry here. So I'm gonna remix some of my rock color and work on the edges here. And now that I have my water more defined, working to define a little bit more my rocks. So I think it's the kind of last stage of the painting here, because I have my sand that is defined, I have the water that is defined, and I'm just gonna work a little bit more on the rock to define them a little bit more, and I think then I will be good with this painting. I'm just gonna add a tiny bit of those to make again a kind of greenish color. Yeah, perfect. Putting a little more white here. My process in acrylics is very much a back and forth right now. Not sure it's the best way of approaching acrylics, but that's how I'm doing it right now. So here I'm adding a little bit more of this Payne's Gray, which is super dry on my palette, so I'm having a hard time getting any on my brush. I'm just adding a little bit of dry texture here. And same ideas as ever, trying to get a variety of mark making and to help make sense a little bit of this rock. Help the viewer understand that they are looking at a rock. That's the kind of basic principle I'm applying here. Okay, and now I'm gonna go with the white. Just add a tiny bit of white here and there to put some highlights on my rocks. So it's not super clean white, but it's just, I like that it kind of mixes with what's under. And just give some more interest to the scene, and not really definition, but kind of shows that something is happening there. And put a little bit too much white here. The end of the painting is always difficult because I don't have that much paint left on my palette that is not entirely dry, and I still want to do some stuff, so. And usually I end up putting some more paint on my palette and then kind of regretting doing that. I'm just going to add a shine here to the water. Not sure how much of a good idea that is, but let's see what we can do. Oh, okay, that kind of worked. Maybe add a little bit more blue to the blue line, like there, and then kind of drag it down. In my reference image, the sea is very, very still, but I like to add a little more movement to it. I think it gives some interest also. That's too thick of a horizon line, so I'm trying to thin it down a little while it's still a bit wet. Okay, that's not too bad. Maybe just add a little something to the buildings back there. I think I have a very thin brush, and I'm gonna use that to add some kind of highlights to the buildings there. So I can be way more precise with this. And I also, okay, I'll put these brushes there, and I'm gonna use a little bit of Payne's Gray straight from the tube and add I don't want to add too much, it's just to give the impression that there are some buildings or something. Yeah, something like that. Okay. So I think that's it for this painting. I don't know if I want to touch the sky. I kind of like this kind of very, very watery down version of the sky. So I think that's it for this painting. It's my very first canvas with acrylics. So let me know what you think, and if you have any kind of advice on how I should approach this, don't hesitate. It's a pretty long video. I don't know how much I will edit because I was kind of talking the whole way, but I'll do my best and trying to post this as soon as possible. As always, thank you for watching. If you like the video, don't forget to like it, to give it a thumbs up, and to subscribe to the channel to see any new videos I'm gonna post. I'm more or less posting every week now. And if you want to see me do some specific things or try out new art supplies, just let me know in the comments and I'll see what I can do. And until my next video, thank you for watching and have a nice artisty week. Bye!